Hello, this is Community Conversations, a production of Concord Community TV or Concord TV. I'm Doris Ballard, your host. This is a podcast, and also it is seen on demand on yourconcordtv.org, or if you get our channels on local Concord cable channels, it's channel 22. So with that, I am really excited to have as our guest this week Ryan Linehan. He's the director of Kimball Jenkins School of Art. And I have not caught up with Ryan for quite a while, and I cannot believe all the exciting things that are happening at that organization at Kimball Jenkins. So with that said, Ryan Linehan, welcome to Community Conversations.
Thanks for having me.
I cannot, as I said, I can't believe how busy you are and how creative everything is that you're bringing on board at the art school and the estate.
We're trying to keep it so, at least once a week something's happening. There's sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, but there's something for everybody.
Well, for those people who are listening or watching, by the end of this program, I'm sure they're going to be all excited to go to some of your events or rent your carriage house for weddings or birthday parties or whatever. So without ado, let's get going here. Let's get a little bit of what's the mission of the Kimball Jenkins estate, and a little background on it, please.
Okay. In 1980, Carolyn Jenkins passed away. She was the last person to live there. We're about 4 acres and 5 buildings right in downtown Concord. It's right at the end of 393 North Main Street. And she left it as a charitable trust to be used for the benefit of the arts. And it took a little while, but it eventually became the School of Art. And because it's such a beautiful place, we also do weddings, parties, that kind of stuff. You can rent the estate, either rent a building or rent the entire thing. So what happens day to day is primarily the art school, and then the weekends is rentals.
Now, it wasn't always an art school. I thought that was a brilliant idea years ago. How long has it been an art school?
It started in 99. And, unfortunately, it was tied up in probate court for about 8 years. And then it's kind of floundered as a house museum, and they did history camp there, and there was a bunch of smaller things. But they did discover pretty quickly they need a pretty substantial revenue source. It's a very expensive property to maintain.
I'll bet.
Just the nature of the buildings and just the sheer square footage.
If you could say in one sentence or a few sentences what the mission is. We're trying to bring low or affordable art education to the people of Concord. The classes are not for credit. It's our mission, fun.
yeah, and our idea is, and we get this all the time, you're not born an artist. Everybody has it in them, and you come to us to bring that out.
So there's an artist in everyone.
There is, and that's what we awaken, that artist. And we do that through the art school. A lot of times most people will start with a drawing class. If that's too much for you, there's this winter we're doing a class called Introduction to Art, which is going to be a fantastic class. You can know nothing about art and have never done anything with art, but if you're interested, that would it's a very non-intimidating class, because you can't really
actually have some hands-on.
It's all hands-on. Yeah,
right.
Every week you'll be doing some either making your own thing, or it's all going to be based on other artists. So it's just a way for you to learn the process of art. Your finished products might not be fantastic. It's meant to just let you know you can do it.
So it's a good beginning, you would say.
It's a fantastic beginning, and that's what it's because there's no mistakes.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
You can't erase it, though.
No,
okay.
But there's no mistakes. It's just.
Well, I'm going to give your website, kimballjenkins.com, so that often during the interview here so that people can go check it out, and they can get on your social media Facebook page from there,
Absolutely.
right? Okay. All right, so let's go into some of the exciting things that you're doing now. You just had a Halloween party, which this is the first year that you did it?
That was the first year. It was DJ'd by Nazi, who I'm afraid to say I didn't know until they.
How could you not know Nazi?
I don't know.
You know him now, right?
I don't listen to that station. So Nazi DJ'd it, and it was a dance-off, Halloween, costume party. We turned the mansion into a haunted mansion.
That's exciting.
And we had a lot of volunteers that were really excited about it.
That's great. And it was very successful. And it was what, early 20s to 30s?
20s to 30s. Yep. And we had a lot of people that have never been to the estate come to the estate, which is what we're looking for.
So you're going to be doing this every year?
Yep.
So next year, folks, if you're just tuning in, Kimball Jenkins director Ryan Linehan is with us, and we're look for that Halloween party to be a part of it next year. There's not a lot of places where you can go and have a fun Halloween party these days without, that's not in a
bar.
In a bar, right?
Yeah, and that's what we were trying to tap into. And the people that came had a blast.
That's great. All right, you have winter classes coming up.
Winter classes.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Start the third week of January. So we've got drawing, painting, ceramics, hand building. We've got.
I'm sorry, what?
Hand building.
Hand build? What is that?
It's instead of on the potter's wheel, you're actually molding the clay, and we're doing. We've actually broken that down into 2 different workshops, 3-week workshops. So it's just 3 classes, and one of them is going to be. It's getting a lot of attention. It's in those 3 classes, everybody's going to make a tea set.
Oh.
Which is kind of neat. I was pretty excited about it.
Right. I'm going to have to look into that.
And the other 3 classes is Art Nouveau mask planter.
A mask planter?
Yeah, they are pretty popular.
Who comes up with these ideas? I mean, you're an artist yourself, I have to say.
Yeah,
right?
I'll
right.
try to keep a pulse on what's popular.
And that is popular.
It is, especially the tea sets.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of tea sets, that's something else we do now. It's tea parties.
Tea party, love it.
We did this spring. We did our first fairy tea party.
I saw that. I was going to mention
and
that.
We had about 180 people show up.
Oh my gosh!
So we did this enormous tea party, and it's amazing.
What a perfect place, Kimball Jenkins Estate, to have a tea party and a princess fairy type thing.
Lately, we've been doing a lot of tea party birthday parties for people that, if your son or daughter wants to have a special party, we do a themed party.
Very nice.
So we've got, I think we have a SpongeBob party coming up, a Frozen party coming up, and those take place in the mansion.
Very nice.
Really
a great use of the mansion, and it must be a very, the kids love it. Right?
Yeah.
It feels like a castle almost, right. All right, so winter classes are coming up, and who teaches? You have some amazing instructors.
I do. I'm lucky. I've got some fantastic teachers. Sylvia Brofos is our watercolor instructor. She's been a teacher in New Hampshire for probably 40-something years. Her class is one of our most popular, and she offers a beginning watercolor class if you've never done it before, and her intermediate class is something new we're doing, and a lot of people will take the class over and over again.
But they get better.
And they do get better, and we keep the lessons different every time.
And they have a new painting every time. I would think, right?
Oh, absolutely. And so what Sylvia is teaching is finding your own voice. So most of these people have painted for a while, but there's only so many times you can paint a Wyeth or paint the same flower. So this is Sylvia's teaching them to find their own voice, to find their own style. So that's interesting. We've got 3 different other painting teachers. I've got Carla Roy, who is new, and does oil and acrylics. And Lee Johnson, who's been there quite a while, he teaches mostly acrylic painting. And then my oil instructor is Joe Blazda.
Who I have met, right?
Yeah, he's...
Well, I can vouch for the quality of your teachers because when we had our Arts Telefest, I got to know a lot of them, and what they do is amazing. So.
And the classes are, one of the things that we try to do is the classes are fun, they're social, so you are learning, but it is fun.
If you're just tuning in to either our podcast or Concord TV, this is Community Conversations. I'm Doris Ballard, your host, and Ryan Linehan is the director of Kimball Jenkins School of Art, and he also runs the beautiful Kimball Jenkins estate. So we're finding out all of the exciting things that are happening there, catching up with Mr. Linehan here. You have coming up, you just had Halloween, so there's a lot of December events.
December
Santa
3rd is our student show.
Oh.
So if you want to see what our students are doing, it's all ages and abilities.
And you can purchase.
Most of them are for sale.
Right.
Some are not. Usually our first-time students are too proud of their work and don't want to let it go. So there's, and it's ages, we start at 6 and go into their 90s.
Wow.
So it's all ages and abilities, and that's going to be in the Carriage House.
And that's December 3rd.
Yep.
A student show. And what time will that be?
5 to 7.
5 to 7, all right.
And then...
Is there a fee to an
No.
entrance fee?
No.
Okay.
All our galleries openings are free, and they're catered. It's a lot of fun.
That's wonderful.
They're,
right.
it's a nice night out.
I also see that you're having Santa.
We are. We're doing pictures with Santa, and that's going to include story time. We're doing, I think it's the Polar Express, and
It's a great one.
we'll be doing different arts projects with the kids, and other different projects. It's a fun family activity.
And is there a fee for the photos with Santa?
There, for the whole product thing, there is. I think it's $10.
Well, and it's in the mansion, or is it in the
That's
carriage
going to
house?
be in the mansion and in the yellow house where they're doing the craft projects.
Wonderful. All
'cause
right.
they'll
So
be
they
in the
have craft
studios.
projects, and then they can
Yep, and
have their
there's
photo taken
story
with Santa.
time. There's all different things you can do.
I don't know how you find the time to do all of this. Do you have a lot of staff members?
No, I've got one other staff member that's been fantastic. In
Well, you've got
helping
some
me.
amazing volunteers, I'm sure.
Yes.
That's great. Well, now, you seem to really, really love the Wednesday Wisdom events that you have. Talk to us about that.
That's a project that we do in partnership with the Millbrook Gallery. And Pam Tarbell approached me about doing it a few years ago, and she came across this thing in Bangladesh where different people would host these gatherings where there would be, different houses each month would host this gathering where it's a potluck, and they have somebody talk about something, usually arts or cultural related. So in the summer we do them out in Millbrook Gallery on Pleasant Street, and then in the fall and winter we host it at Kimball Jenkins, and it's a potluck and it's free. Everybody
So everybody brings
comes,
food,
bring
it's free. It's
food, bottle of
a
wine,
nice social
something.
event.
And it starts off as a social event, just mingling, and then we have a usually fairly brief, 45 minutes to an hour talk or demonstration or something like that. And we've really had some fascinating topics.
Give us an idea.
Some of my favorite ones were a brief history of hay, the use of hay in art, literature, and music. And the speaker, Annie Jones from St. Paul's, brought you from Mesopotamia to the pop artists.
How do you find
in
the people?
35 minutes.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
So, how many people, as a rule, will attend these?
Anywhere from a dozen to 40.
Really? It
Yeah.
depends on the topic.
Or just the time of year, or I don't know.
Listen, it's free.
It's
and
free.
it's a
fun,
gathering and social
and
and informative.
Yeah, and Annie did another talk for me Sticking with her same format, a brief history of laundry in art, literature, and life.
I
So
love
she
it.
took you through the
Good.
history of laundry. And sometimes we'll have artists come in and do demos or make it more hands-on where we had a printmaker come in and everybody made their own prints.
Do you have the whole year mapped out generally, or is it
No,
month by
it's
month?
sometimes we usually book out about 3 months.
Can people go on KimballJenkins.com and
Yes.
find out what's happening
So in
with
November,
those?
tomorrow,
So this is happening.
it's always the second Wednesday of the
Second
month,
Wednesday of the month.
6
So
p.m.
this may not be up in time for people to know about it tomorrow, but which is the what's the date tomorrow?
The 11th.
The 11th, right, which is Veterans Day.
Yes.
But certainly for possibly you'll have one in December still?
December is Pedro.
Pedro Pimento, yes.
He will be a young filmmaker who made a movie
Called The Priest.
called The Priest
Right.
at Kimball Jenkins. It was filmed this summer. And it was the first movie ever filmed at Kimball Jenkins. And it's just a fantastic movie.
And he's a recent graduate from Concord High School, so.
And he put a tremendous amount of thought into this movie.
We'll have to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So again, this is Community Conversations for those who are listening to the podcast, and I'm Doris Ballard, your host, and our guest today is Ryan Linehan, of the director of Kimball Jenkins School of Art, and we're talking about all the great things that are happening at the School of Art and at the estate. And again, KimballJenkins.com, and it is a nonprofit, so I'm surprised it's .com.
Whoever set it up to begin set it up as a .com, and
All right.
I haven't wanted to rebrand it.
Well, there you go. All right, so people will think, no, it's got to be .org. Now there's
No.
a reason for it.
Yes.
Okay. All right, now there's this a very exciting mural project that you've talked to me about. This is happening in January. That's a great story. Why don't
Yeah,
you tell us about that?
this is come along very quickly. It probably started about 3 weeks ago. A number of people and businesses approached me about doing a mural or a teen program and teen project. It's meant for creative teens to give them an outlet. So there'll be an application process. The teens are going to have to apply to be part of this, and ultimately they'll be designing and going through the approval process and installing a mural downtown.
That's amazing. On the
and
side of the CVS building.
That looks like that's going to be where it's going to be.
It may be, so it's not definite yet.
Not definite yet.
Okay. But it will be downtown.
Yes, and the city has been fantastic in terms of waiving fees, and it's been a process. So getting everybody to agree has been a challenge on my part. So, but once it's ready, the teens are just going to have to focus on what they're going to paint, and I have no idea what they want to paint.
It'll be interesting to hear what they come up with. You'll
Yeah,
have to
and
let us know.
it's going to be an interesting little area because in the planter there is going to be a sculpture fairly soon. So right out in front of that, there'll be a sculpture.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce, I serve on the committee, and you're on that committee
Yes.
as well, the Creative Concord Committee, which is really doing some great work over the years in bringing more art to the community. And this is public art, this would be considered.
Yes.
So the fact that the city is on board with this is wonderful.
They're excited
right?
about it.
Now, you going to get any buy-in from the public on this? Because you know how the public can be a little finicky about the
I know.
artwork. You know,
And
Portsmouth had a little bit of an issue on some
and there might
public
be
art.
a little bit of an issue, but I can't. We
It'll
can't
put you in the
please
news.
everybody. We can't please everybody. So what I'm doing is putting together a panel of citizens, somebody from the city, different. The building owner.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Maybe somebody from True Brew or CVS.
Sure.
To help go through the approval process.
Right.
So I'm not just giving kids a bunch of spray paint saying, go paint. And
It's not graffiti. This is art.
And they're going to have to come up with the design and what they want to do, and then they're going to be doing it on big panels, which will then be installed. and
So it won't be right on like the wall itself.
it'll be
but
kind of just hung on the outside of the wall. It's going to be about
see.
6 inches from the wall.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right. So I imagine there'll be a big like reveal of the.
There will be,
So we'll have to look toward that.
and one drawback or benefit from having it on that building is that building may be redeveloped in the next 4 or 5 years.
Sure.
So it might be a temporary mural.
Would you be able to take the murals?
Possibly, or we just do another one somewhere else.
Well, you know what? I think it's time for public art all throughout Concord, actually. Not just on Main Street, but that could be a perfect start with the redevelopment of that.
And one of the ideas, I was talking to one teen who might want to be involved is, we're going to be doing it on 6 different panels that are all going to come together. Well, what if all those 6 panels could actually be independent, possibly, so when it's done, you have 6 murals that can go 6 different places.
Nice.
So we might be able to get this out.
We're running out of time. There's so much to talk about. I've got to talk about there's an ornamental fundraiser, which people can go on KimballJenkins.com and find out about.
We have these 4x4 blanks. They're just little pieces of wood that artists or non-artists can purchase from us. I think they're 3 for $5, and then they create their artwork on them and then return them to us, and then we'll be selling them December 3rd at the student show.
Lots going on.
And I've received some beautiful, beautiful pieces. Some little 4x4 ornaments that have 50, 60 hours in them.
Wow.
Somebody's going to get a great piece for $20.
So December 3rd, I think you're going to look for me there because I love to go to your student shows.
And it's a great place to buy artwork.
A holiday gift too, right?
Yeah, because you can buy an original piece of artwork
that
for
lasts
$50, $125 that speaks to you.
Wow, that's great.
You don't have to spend a lot of money to buy art.
And who knows, maybe someday those artists will be famous and you can, pass it down to generations or sell it on eBay or something, right? All right, which I never would do. We will talk about your rentals before we wrap up because what a wonderful place to have a holiday party, or as you said, a birthday party, weddings.
We do a lot of weddings.
Beautiful there. You have flowers out in the back. And
we've got a formal gardens out back, and we can accommodate about 80 people for an indoor wedding. Most of our weddings are outdoor, under a tent, and we can accommodate up to about 300 for an outdoor wedding. And it's been pretty busy, and 2016 is booking right up.
Not only that, but what's going to come before you know it? We haven't even had any snow yet. We're talking about camps for teens.
Yes, I know.
All right. But you teach that you have a lot of camps, like we do video camps, you do art camps.
In the summer, we do a summer camp and teen art camp.
We should combine our efforts.
I know we should.
Concord TV and Kimball Jenkins School of Art. Why don't we do that?
We should do a program. Yep.
Okay. Anyway, is there anything that we've forgotten that's happening at Kimball Jenkins School of Art or the estate, Ryan Linehan? We've got 5 minutes left, so let's make it count.
One thing that I always try to convey is, Carolyn Jenkins left the property to the people of Concord, and it's open to the people of Concord. Feel free to stop by. I've had people now stopping by. We did a lot of Concord 250.
The chats.
Chats and that kind of stuff. And just to wander around that house. And you're welcome to wander around the house. Check it out. Most of the rooms are open. The attic is absolutely amazing. It's the best.
I've never been in the attic, really.
Everybody talks about the attic if they go up there.
Got to go see the attic at Kimball Jenkins Estate.
Most of the second floor is closed off. We rent it as private studios. That's something I've been building for a while. We have...
you have a dark room there as well.
We do. But we also have, right now, I've got 11 working artists, which is...
You're giving work to local artists. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, working artists that rent space from us, and they make a living as an artist. And so it's really turning into...
Are they in the yellow building?
I've got 4 studios in the yellow building and another 5 in the mansion.
So they rent it like an office. Like an office, right.
Yep. And we have the ceramic studio membership program, which is, if you're a potter, setting up in your kitchen's not the easiest thing to do. So, for a monthly fee, you can come and use our studio, which has all the equipment and stuff in it, and firings and all that kind of stuff.
Are there scholarships available for youth who may not be able to afford to
Yes,
attend your camps?
particularly for kids and teens.
All right.
I don't think we've turned anybody away in years. If
That's good to
somebody
know.
wants to come, they can come.
So there's so much going on. You are listening to and watching Community Conversations, our podcast for Concord TV, and our TV channel 22, and on yourconcordtv.org, and watch it on demand anywhere in the world.
That's awesome.
So you know anyone across the country, they can
Send
tune
it.
into this. How about that? It's a good time to be on TV and radio and communications. I love it. All right, so Ryan Linehan, it's been such a pleasure
Thanks
to
for having me.
get connected again and seeing all the wonderful things that's happening. Kudos to you, your staff, and your board of trustees and volunteers for all the great work you're doing.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on Community Conversations. I'm Doris Ballard. Tune in next week for a new wonderful guest. I don't know how we can top you, though, Ryan Linehan. All right. Have a great day. Bye now.